The journey is conversations with ordinary people about stories of transformation and how we may have had setbacks in our life and how we persevered through those, how we've learned from those obstacles, and how they've maybe helped us on our path today.
Well, welcome to the journey. My name is Kevin Polky. I am the host of the journey, and we have a gentleman that I met a few months ago, and he has been on the podcast on the journey uh, probably about 4 or 5 weeks ago. Nathan Sill. He was the individual who shared his story of being a collegiate swimmer. Being a parkour athlete and having a surgery, a back surgery that really was to, kind of restore him and bring him back to, his full athletic ability after having some back injuries. Instead, woke up and didn't have any feeling or any movement in his lower body. In other words, was paralyzed from the mid back down, and then he had to go through the whole process of regaining mobility. Then we talked about struggling with opioids and opioid addiction, depression, and having suicidal thoughts, and how the combination of your friends and family really gathered around you to help you transform out of that. So, Nathan, welcome back to the journey.
Thank you, Kevin. It's great being back on here. Yeah, I'm Nathan Sill from Beloit, Wisconsin.
And I know a couple weeks ago, after we had filmed the podcast, we had the opportunity to bring together yourself and three other young adults, and we were doing a short film that we are now going to be using for the Shatter of Silence annual fundraising dinner on September 19th. Vixen Productions, Lonnie with Vixen had put together that film, and I've had a chance to view that film. It's pretty powerful what yourself as well as some of the other individuals that were on there. Let's talk a little bit about what was that experience like when it was on the opposite. Instead of you being behind the camera, you were in front of the camera on this one. So yeah, tell us a little bit about what your experience was like as we were doing that filming that day.
I would say the first thing that kind of took me off guard was just I'm not used to having such a professional setup. I usually go out with a phone on a tripod or like my GoPro, and walking into the studio and having the lighting, the crew set up. It was just really amazing, being in that professional setting. So that was definitely the first thing that I think that I was like, wow, this is like for real. And it was just really amazing.
Yeah, Lonnie and her crew, they did an amazing job of literally changing my waiting room into her studio in a matter of less than an hour. She got everything set up and created that look of, like you said, a very professional space for us to kind of capture what we really want to capture in those moments. And as you were, we're going through the questions, and in your case, you had at least been interviewed at least once by me before, so it was maybe a little bit easier from that end. What when you walked away from that, anything come to mind about the process of sharing your story again and going through that, and then having to share it in front of people that you had not met before?
I think, I mean, it's telling that story is very near and personal to me, and so telling it and making sure that I don't gloss over details, especially if someone is going to hear it for the first time, is something I wanted to make sure I got right. That the message I wanted to tell with that story came out right, and so it was different than when I had done it with our friend group for our film, because ours was out in the middle of the woods. So again, it felt a little bit different, but this one, because of the setup, because of how professional it was, it felt very comfortable. It felt like talking to old friends, I think, through the camera. But I definitely would say that the whole time I was also trying to make sure that these people, I haven't met them before. I might feel super comfortable, but I do want to make sure that I tell everything in detail and make sure that everything gets told.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and I think, you did a really nice job as far as being able to, obviously make it personal, but as you were talking about, the different aspects of what's going on, not only what happened to you, but then also being able to share of how you were able to get the support from your family and friends in your recovery journey as well. So I definitely appreciate that, and looking forward to you and everyone who's going to be at the event on the 19th at Prairie Street to be able to see that. And I've been very intentional that the only people that have seen it are the board, and the main speaker are the only ones that have seen it. So I want to intentionally unveil it to you guys all to see it for the first time, especially the four of you that were in the film itself.
Yeah, I'm super stoked to see the film. I would say I'm even more excited to meet the other people that were in the film. I see their names being tagged in the posts and stuff, but we haven't met in person, so I'm really excited to see their story and get to meet them for the first time as well.
Awesome. So with that being said, on September 25th, we're having an opportunity. Shatter Silence partnered with the Rockford Public Library, and they are allowing us to show your film, Afterglow, on September 25th at from 6 to 8 at the Nordlof Center. And I know this coming weekend, you are, or actually when this comes out, this will come out the day after Labor Day. This episode will. So you already had the opportunity to premiere your film, and so let's tell us a little bit about Afterglow and where that name Afterglow came from, and what's a little bit about Afterglow.
I guess we can start off with the title, Afterglow. It took us a long time to settle on the title. You want it to be perfect and represent everything with a story like this, and it came from like the reflection back on things, the looking back on the process of what made not just the movie but the people in the movie. The film itself is us, my parkour group, and I traveling through Wisconsin and reflecting back on not only how our relationships have changed us as people, but also how they've lifted us up and put us in healthier positions, whether that be social lives, our friendship, or mental health. And the film really does touch on a lot of mental health, but I would say just as much as it highlights the struggles of what myself and other members have gone through, it also directly ties into why community and why a sport like parkour can be something that can be so beneficial for young people. Finding what you're passionate about, finding the people that will lift you up. And it really does highlight a lot of that community aspect of why it's important to connect and explore and get out there and see the world from all different angles.
Nice. And I know that you have emphasized with me especially, is that not only is the film about your guys' relationships with each other, and the idea that the sport of parkour, but it was also about, the benefits, the healing benefits, and of being able to be out in nature and spending time in nature. And so, during the filming of Afterglow, what are some of the areas that you guys were at in Wisconsin? You said it was all filmed in Wisconsin, but what are some of the places you went to in Wisconsin to get some of the footage?
Yeah, we had a really great photographer and drone pilot with us, Alex Page, and he and I went and scouted a few locations that we had used in prior videos, and gone to as a group before. And so we went to Baraboo to start off the trip, which is just beautiful. It's got Devil's Lake, but we were a little outside of that, and we were in the Peewit's Nest area. So there's this giant ravine that has waterfalls and stuff, and that was just beautiful. And we went to Shawano to pick up my friend Devin and his brothers for one part of the film. And beautiful, it's right on the reserve, and so it's just gorgeous out there. And then to end the movie, we went to the Madeline Island, the Apostle Island group, and we spent it on Madeline Island and did the cliff jumping there. and it was just a beautiful, beautiful experience. Like you said, nature was a huge part for us growing up, especially in high school when people needed to be out of the house for domestic reasons, and people didn't know where to go mentally. And being outside is such a healthy thing for all of us, where it's like if you're in your head, if you don't know who to talk to, going outside and being in nature with each other really was a great way to um, express things and talk with each other and have that like open feeling, because it's wide, it's expansive, and I mean, nature is just beautiful in all corners. So, and then to shoot it in Wisconsin too, in places that were special to us, was extremely important. A little fun fact: Madeline Island, the cliff jumping spot, was actually where Devin and his siblings reconnected with their half siblings the year prior. So it was a super, super important part for them. And being able to incorporate that into the story while we were figuring out where would we want to shoot at was just really cool to bring it full circle.
Nice. So in the film, you know, it's not going to be just about Nathan, right? It's going to be your friend group. So tell us a little bit about, you know, the different individuals that are in the friend group, and yeah, tell us a little bit about that, and tell us what their response has been. I know you were, you know, you were in Beloit Film Festival, and you got, it looks like you got an award for that. And so, yeah, tell us a little bit about, you know, the different individuals in your friend group that was in the film, and then about the Beloit Film Festival.
Yeah, I can start off with the film festival. They've been nothing but short of amazing with everything. Promoting the film, and just a lot of love that they've shared with us, and the community's feedback has been amazing. So it was really special to be able to have a film festival that actually was in the city that we were shooting the film and we're all from. So that was just amazing. The members of the group have been like super excited about the whole process. Um, Obviously, communication with having such personal stories was like top of the board for us, and so making sure everyone felt comfortable the entire process was something I took a lot of priority in. So we had to have a lot of conversations, especially in the early days of like, how do we want the story to look? What are people comfortable telling? Like, a lot of people aren't comfortable or haven't been on camera before. So to make a film and then ask people to share very personal stories was something we wanted to find a good balance with. Um, we have three main stories that are focused within the film. We have mine, obviously, and then we have my friend Devin's and his siblings, the McIntyres, which is probably the biggest chunk of the story, and it explores their personal life and home life in Beloit. And then we have my friend Ben Jong. He was a friend I made in college, and he was my first student at the college for the parkour club. So we explore his relationship with injury, mental health, how he fits in within a group dynamic that he is new to. And then we have my longtime best friend, Max Saladar. He and I were adopted together. So that was really exciting to have him along for the ride. And our friend Evan, he made the longest trip out of everyone. He moved away after high school, and he lives in California, but he flew out for it, and he is our best parkour athlete probably out of the group. So he does a lot of the stunts, a lot of the crazy things you'll see in the film, the buildings and the, you know, jumping over the gaps. Evan's the one that is the one to look for that. It's pretty amazing.
Very, very cool.
Mhm.
So, well, that was something that I didn't know, and that you kind of slid in there. So, were you said you were adopted at when you were a baby at birth? When were you adopted?
Yeah, I was adopted at birth, so probably a few months, and then I came to the U.S. Lived in Beloit my whole life, and like I said, I was fortunate enough to have my best friend also adopted with me. Our families got together right after the adoption process, and so we got to grow up together. Went to different middle schools, but reconnected in high school, and then we've been dorming in college together ever since. And then when we graduated, we live together now. So it's been a pretty like epic ride.
Sure, sure, yeah. And were you, yeah? Where's your home country? Where's his home country?
Both South Korea, Seoul, South Korea. So
Oh,
yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool to, you know, move halfway across the world, even if you don't realize it, and then, you know, have the same person that like from the same place, meet them here, and then be able to form such a deep connection with them as well. So
so just curious, and maybe you've heard the stories. your parents and his parents, did they connect through the adoption process, and that's how they knew about you guys? Or yeah, tell us how, I mean, because obviously you were babies. So how did that get fostered? How did that end up cultivating?
Yeah, actually, Max would be the one to ask. He knows a little bit more details than I do, but from what my understanding is, our family's connected through the adoption agency, and became friends that way. And so when we came to the States, they were friends already, so we became friends. We have all these photos of us in a lot of places I don't remember doing fun stuff, and yeah, we've known each other ever since.
Oh, well, that's a pretty cool story that I was not aware of regarding that. So awesome. So, and maybe I didn't catch this correctly, but were you, were you, or was the Afterglow directing team, were you guys given an award via the Beloit Film Festival?
Yeah, so we got the Director's Award, which is from Greg Gerard. He's the director for the film festival. Him and his team put it on every year, and so he gets to choose one film that he thinks is deserving of that award, and so only he's allowed to, I guess, choose the award. And so I was very shocked that we got the award. I loved our film, and but there was it's our first film festival, and there was a lot of really amazing films this year. So to get it was like a huge honor. And yeah, like I said, I was a bit surprised. I was in the back at the buffet, like getting food, and I heard my name, and I had to put the food down and run up to accept the award for our group. And it was really, really cool. But yeah, like I said, they've been just amazing to us. So
Awesome. Very, very cool. So, so with that, on the night of the 19th, at the Prairie Street Brew House, you're going to be there. Some of your group is going to be there that as well. I know not everyone can come, but some of them are going to be coming.
hopefully, we're working on getting people off work, and school just started up for the college students. So we're hoping that a few of them can make it out and represent the group. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, great. And then on the 25th, how is that? What are you gonna? I know you'll be there, but what about, is anybody else going to be able to be there?
I believe everyone from that one should be there. It lines up nicely, and I think everyone. I told them about it, and they've put in their request for work and everything. And so, um, everyone from the group and their partners should be there, and it should be a really, really fun time.
Awesome. Yeah, I know that to being able to ask these guys to come into Rockford two weeks in a row is not an easy thing to do, especially with school schedules and work schedules and things like that. So when you and yeah, tell me a little bit about how has your group really been from a standpoint of doing the film, putting the film together, entering into the Beloit Film Festival, and then now with some of the things that have been unfolding regarding it now, you got you've already done, or you're going to be doing a premiere. By the time this comes out, that one premiere will already be done. Then you'll have an opportunity for the Rockford premiere to happen. Yeah, what's the feel been with your group regarding some of the attention that it's been getting in the last 6 months?
I would say overall very positive. Everyone's been very appreciative and very just sometimes a little shocked by like the reaction that we've gotten from the community. We all love this story, but obviously we didn't know how it would be received by people once they watched it. And overall, it's been getting so much love and support, and so we're very just happy to see that, and excited to share it with more of the community as well. We know there's a lot of people out there struggling with what we struggled with, and um, it's a really, really beautiful story, and it has a lot of beautiful people in it. It's been moving pretty fast. We obviously aren't like perfect, so we have our disagreements sometimes about how fast it's moving, if we need to slow down as a group. But one of the great things that I think we've built over time has been communicating when something doesn't feel right, or when something is moving too fast. And we've been always able to have that conversation when needed and talk it out. And it's been a really healthy process, I think, for the whole time.
Sure. Excuse me. But yeah, I think that's one of the, I think one of the main things, right, is to be able to have those candid conversations and be able to share about what is it that I am uncomfortable about, or
Mhm.
what is it about, I'm uncomfortable about it going too fast, or I want to make sure we take these opportunities or whatever. And being able to talk those through, because like you said, at the end of the day, your guys' friendship is really what has is the basis of this whole thing. And there is an element of vulnerability of not only the vulnerability of being on film with it, but then having it being exposed. And so I think it is important to be able to have those conversations about what the concerns are, as well as the opportunities that because at the end of the day, what's most important is your guys' relationships is most important.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I just to give them all a shout out. Sharing your personal stories, like you've been saying, isn't like an easy thing to do. And um, even during the start of the filming process, they went back and forth on a few members just if they wanted to be involved, they wanted their story to be involved because it was such a personal thing for them. And so it would be one way one week, the next week it would change. And by the time we got to filming, everyone was pretty locked in. But even after we finished filming, there was a few people that hadn't seen the footage yet, and so it was very scary for them to like fully commit to letting like our editor do his work and be like let him even see the footage that had been shot. And so it was just major props to everyone that like we were able to sit down, have conversations as a group, or having a one-on-one conversation with me, and allowing me to tell the story that we did finally tell. And it's been a really amazing journey with everyone. But yeah, we're all so excited to for you and everyone else to see the film and um, see what you think of it.
Yeah, yeah, and absolutely. And I know like the night of the 25th, right, is that, yeah, to be able to not only show the film, but then, have an opportunity for the audience to meet you and whoever else is able to be there, and facilitate some dialogue with that. And we never know, right? Never know who's going to be there. We never know who can be impacted in a positive way, or possibly inspired for them to do some project or initiative on their own. But it's all that way of how to be a light or hope in other people's darkness. And so I really appreciate your willingness to continue pushing ahead and stretching your guys' selves to get your film not only out there, but to be able to do these premieres, because I know it's not an easy thing when you're trying to also navigate through life too. So Nathan, as we wrap up, what if someone wanted to get a hold of you? I mean, obviously, we have the event, the SOS for Shatter Silence event on the 19th. The following week on the 25th, we're having the Afterglow at Nordlof with the Rockford Public Library. What other things that you're aware of that are going to be coming up that you would want people to know about?
Um, Wow. I do think the Shatter Our Silence event, both of them are going to be the two biggest things that I would say are coming up for that I would want people to know about. Obviously, we have the premiere, but it will have happened by when this comes out. So I think at the moment, those are the two big events, the 19th and the 25th, that I'm the most excited for and see coming out. And we're working on some film festivals at the moment with Afterglow, but we won't hear back from them until in September or late September, I think. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
Well, hopefully, we'll be able to make some of those positive announcements on the 25th if you get into some of those film festivals as well. So, but Nathan, it's been a treat again to be able to have a conversation with you, and just seeing where things have progressed just in the last few weeks, and looking forward to being with you on the 19th as well as the 25th at the Nordlof Center.
absolutely, I am as well.
Right. So really excited about the opportunity for Nathan, as well as the other individuals in the short film that we have. That particular film is going to be featured on the night of September 19th when we're doing our SOS fundraiser, our annual fundraiser at Prairie Street Brewing Company. And we are moving Shatter Our Silence. Not only are we going to continue raising awareness and having educational opportunities for young adults, the professionals that work with them and their significant others, but we're also going to be looking at how can we identify, support, and feature individuals like Nathan and his friends, as well as the other 3 individuals in the film, about how for these young adults, how they can share their story and be a light in others' darkness. So looking forward, if you have an opportunity to come and buy tickets for the 19th, and then on the 25th, from 6 to 8 at the Nordlof Center. That event is going to be free, and we'll be accepting donations, of course, but it'll be free to the public because we just want to make sure that people have an opportunity to see Afterglow and have that experience of what a group of young people can do as they lean into each other. As always, thank you for being here, and I look forward to being with you next week.